para sa mga participants natin, if you have questions, no, feel free to type them here in our Zoom chat, no. And I have already received a question, no, sent to me via private message, and it's addressed to all of our speakers, no, for this panel. So it goes, ano ang mga maaaring gawin na measures upang masiguro na ang naratibo ng martial law sa Visayas at Mindanao ay maisasama sa mainstream na talakayan ng martial law, which is commonly very Manila or NCR centric. Sige po. So anyone from our panel can answer the question. Siguro po, okay lang po ba if unahin ko si Ma'am Phoebe to answer the question?
Yeah, I would be glad to say that the organizing of professionals in Cebu triggered the expansion of major communities. But it would be like a bias to the educated ones. That if you look at the development, the hardcore impact of destruction of communities, demolition of communities, triggered the proliferation of the urban poor or the bailiwick building of 34 large traditional communities surrounding the city hall. These areas, I cannot enumerate them because it will take time to enumerate. All the 34 communities around the city hall has a lot of households where we, the students, always integrate with, and we do our discussions. We have an APT, that's the Ajit Prop Team. That's a very crude name, but that relates to the actual activity, APT. And every afternoon, like 4 o'clock in the afternoon to about 6 p.m., 2 hours, we go to these communities and bring a sound system, and we go to the Nook and discuss, and we gather people like sometimes 50 and even beyond. I remember I could even gather like 300 people to listen to discussions about the basic issues. So for me, it's a very good reflection, and it's a very good exercise that could be practiced so that there will be expansion of the community. The small communities are not privileged enough to get to school or to sit in meetings, but if we go there and we gather them and let them sit and let them discuss and ask questions from them, what is the problematic in the everyday life, and they are able to participate and express themselves, it will be easy to pick up on their experiences. And from this, students like me and some of the professionals who from time to time join our group in the Ajit teams, or the MPTs and the APTs. That's what we call, because every afternoon, that's how we call our group. Our group of 3 individuals. One holds the microphone, or kanang trompa, yung malaking sound system, who carries it, and then we just walk to the barangay, to the squatters area, and we find a corner like a small chapel, isang bisita doon, tumayo ka doon, tapos umpisa ka na manawagan. And there is also another person who distributes leaflets, and the leaflets are written in a way that meets the eye. Magkano na ang presyo ng bigas, magkano na ang mga bilihin ngayon, kamusta na ang ating buhay. That's how we regularly do it. And then the communities were organized. There were organizers from the Panaghupong, or really mainstay organizers. But the students go and exercise discussion with the community folks. We don't discuss in English. We discuss in Cebuano, and we talk in the way the people talk in the markets, in the small talipapa, in the chapels, in the visita. or in any of the corners, mga kanto-kanto, makipag-usap, magdi-distribute ng leaflets. Ganyan. Tapos nahihiya pa kami nung una kasi hindi nga kami mga taga-kanto, mga estudyante kami, naka-uniforme ng University of San Carlos, white blouse, and then plaid green skirt. Mga ganyan lang yung postura namin. But eventually, the harvest was good because it expanded to about 59 communities. And then there were like a regular number of 12 or 13 teams of 3 individuals distributed around the corners. Yung ngayon nakikita, or in the contemporary times, nakikita ko yung mga ganyan na mga nagsasalita na mga nasa kanto na mga nagsasalita tungkol sa Biblia. That's how we do it before, but it's not talking about the Bible. It's really focused on the issues of poverty, the issues of repression, and the effects of martial law to the lives of the people that contributed to the coming in and the rising in of communities to join the social movement. I don't know if it is still being done today, but without the pandemic, it's going to be very effective. But another thing that helped, because PECO started the community organizing with issue-based projects like water, pathways, electricity, the depressed area electrification project. PECO was just very light and it's basic social services oriented. But with the entry of Student Catholic Action, League of Filipino Students, and then the Panaghugpong sa Kabus ng Tagadakbayan, it was reoriented and it was actually taken to a larger perspective in where the macro and the micro and the macro problems of society merged together, and there was a good direction that made a very big impact, and eventually made the rising in 1984 an effective one, the Big Welcome Bayan.
You, Ma'am Phoebe. How about po yung ating ibang panelists? Baka po you would have something to add no sa sagot ni Ma'am Phoebe, si Miss Ma'am Donna and Ma'am Luwalhati. Sige po. So maybe we can have Ma'am Donna first.
Okay na ba? Yes. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, Pat. Sorry, we didn't get the question.
Sige po. Sige. I'll just repeat the question po. So, ano ang mga maaari gawing measures upang masiguro na ang naratibo ng martial law sa Visayas at Mindanao ay maisama sa mainstream na talakayan ng martial law na karaniwan ay nakasentro sa mga karanasan sa kamay nila?
Siguro because nakikita ko dito yung role nung transitional justice movement in the Philippines, no? Masyadong weak yung transitional justice movement in the Philippines, and madalas yung hegemonic na narrative ay nakasentro sa struggles, no, ng mga nandiyan sa sentro, sa Metro Manila. And I tell you honestly, you have Cebu and Davao very, having very rich narratives and experiences during the of resistance against the dictatorship. And ito ay dapat na sa tingin ko ay because ang ating edukasyon ay napakahalaga. Yung local histories natin di lamang dapat nakasentro doon sa yung local histories na tinuturo natin sa ating senior high school, no? Ito din ay dapat na mainstream na ang mga local histories na yan ng struggles, no, ang sino-sino sila doon sa parte ng Visayas at Mindanao ay natuturo doon sa ating mga paaralan. No? Pangalawa, siguro napaka-importante yung role ng publication. Mahina yung movement na yan, no? Even in the academe, konti lang din yung nagpa-publish patungkol dun sa mga karanasan, and therefore napalakas yung historical erasure, yung movement towards historical erasure and revisionism, if you wish, doon sa mga nangyari, no? Nung panahon ng diktaturyang Marcos. So, yun sa tingin ko, palakasin yung role ng education at i-localize itong pagsalin sa ating mga pamayanan, sa ating mga paaralan, ang mga karanasang ito ng pag-resist against martial law. And then pangalawa, ito ay dapat napapublish, no? Madalas kasi wala tayong mga pictures ng martial law. Nag-usap kami ni Brother Carl Gaspar. They don't have a lot of pictures during that time because even the mere possession of photographs, no, might incriminate you, and napaka-importante yung publication. At then kaya nga nandito tayo nag-uusap-usap. Baka pwedeng isang parte ng movement na yan ay masalin sa publication at ma-share, no, openly sa public, no, because we can access it, kung kaya nga nalalagay sa TikTok yung mga kasinungalingan ng patungkol sa diktadurya, baka pwede natin ito masalin sa popular na mga metodo, no, at saka mga materyales para malabanan yung movement, no, patungkol sa kasinungalingan ng diktatorya. So siguro lang baka si Donna merong ma-share, no?
I think Professor Balahaja already sufficiently addressed the question. Thank you.
Thank you po, Professor Balahaja and Ma'am Donna. So, merong karagdagang komento si Sir Reggie Vallejos patungkol naman dun sa binanggit ni Ma'am Phoebe about effectiveness ng MPT, APT at BTB or yung bus to bus, no? So, sabi niya noong EDSA DOS Oust ERAP campaign, nag-MPT, APT at BTB or bus to bus din kami. Noong una, inaaway kami ng mga tao, pero later on, ito yung nagamit sa pagpapaliwanag bakit kailangan patalsikin si ERAP. I think kahit sa kasalukuyan, very effective pa din itong MPT, APT at BTB na to. Yun nga lang kasi hindi ito gaanong nagagawa ngayon or mahirap siyang ilunsad sa ngayon dahil tayo ay nasa kalagitnaan ng pandemya. So actually, just to share din, ito rin yung karaniwan na ginagawa namin nung ako ay estudyante at kami ay nangangampanya, no, para sa libreng edukasyon. So ito yung usual methods. Sa ganun din, gaya ng ginagawa nila Ma'am Phoebe, kada hapon, no, or minsan tanghali, no, sa oras na maraming tao sa mga tambayan, no, doon din kami naglulunsad ng mga programa na yun just to get the word out there. Yan po.
Yeah, actually it's an after class activity, and then we go to poor communities and then populated areas like Carbon Market, and then we have Colon streets, we have major streets all over the city, but basically we put into mind the urban poor communities, and then we call on but there is an assignment there because we are connected to the Panagkugpong sa Kabus nga Tagadakbayan. The community organizers already set up like some chairs of 5 or 4, or some people like already identified people to join us to gather to call on individuals in the community, and then they mass up regularly. It will create a massing up of 50, and then later it will be a big crowd and it becomes interactive. So that was how we used it, and then people in the community will also like to participate, especially if they see people who are new and who are not from the community that they can speak to, and who has good ideas and logic. But basically, we discuss things. We are given a training by some of the big community organizers in Cebu City I cannot forget Tatay Boy Hagmok, Nanay Viol, Hagmok, or the Hagmok couple of the Cebu Urban Poor. I forgot to put the Cebu Urban Poor Women's League is also a very decisive factor in the shaping of the mentality of young activists, because they teach us the concepts and they teach us terms that we are going to use in the discussion in the community. There is a structure in how you approach. The first part is really to ask for due patience and to ask and to plea for people to listen to what you're going to speak. Of course, that's the part of the first introduction. Um, parang parang pagpapa yung parang pag-umpisa, no, the opening up of participation. You also ask them about how they are. Parang kamusta kayo sa buhay ngayon, maayos pa ba ang kalagayan nyo, meron na ba kayong isinasalang doon na bigas, o handa na ba kayong magsalang ng inyong pagkain, or meron pa ba kayong makakain. It's a very basic thing to touch first on the personal, what is the basic condition inside the household for people, and then ask them please to be able to discuss. For you tell them, like, can we just ask your attention for 10 minutes and we will discuss about some concerns like the oil price hike. If there is an issue, like the very usual issue that we discuss is oil price hike, the matriculation fees, the fare hikes, and these are very common concerns that we always have during our MPTs, APTs, going around the communities. And then we have leaflets, like 1/2 sheet of paper leaflet that discusses the statistical basis of the issues that we are carrying, and we distribute it to them. But some of us also discuss it personally. We go to the individuals, discuss it to them, and tell them what is the content of the paper, so that they don't just leave it and throw it away around. So that's how we do it at that time. And there is a structure, there is a training on the APT speakers, because there is a speakers bureau that is organized among the students and among the professionals. And then the urban poor community leaders help us call on people, knock on the doors, so that they can sit and listen for a moment. And then some of them leave after 10 minutes, some of them stay behind, some of them argue, some of them debate. There is engagement. And that is what we want to happen, engagement. But we don't want to go and intervene in their work. So some of them will pay attention, some of them will leave the work, and of course, some of them will also go back to the work immediately and not pay attention, but at least we have a leaflet to give to them so they can read and they can refer to anytime.
You, Ma'am Phoebe. So, may idadagdag po ba si Ma'am Luwalhati before we close the session? Okay. Sige. So, I guess, yes, since we only have 4 minutes left, unfortunately, we can no longer entertain additional questions. But thank you very much to Sir Arnold, Ma'am Luwalhati, Ma'am Donna, Ma'am Haji, and Ma'am Phoebe for this very engaging session on Visayas and Mindanao para sa ating conference on martial law.